over the years, is it also to see that the woman who's giving birth is safe and so is her child, that we have hospitals now, we have specialists like you who can actually deliver a number of babies. When India made the shift from homes to hospitals, it was because there were a lot of maternal deaths which were reported, Dr. Mohandas.
The maternal deaths have come down drastically in Kerala compared to the maternal deaths all over India.
Right.
And so that is we have already gone forward, and our perinatal mortality is also on par with the Western world in Kerala. And in such a place to go back to home births just because of religious fundamentalism or whatever the reason that they have resorted to taking this step is actually not a safe thing for women. And women do matter in India as much as everywhere. We hear of nurses going abroad in Gulf countries where they are not even looked after. The women is just looked after as a child provider. And where here in Kerala or even in India, after three cesareans, we are a little worried about making them deliver again. But there is no provision for stopping the deliveries even after five, six cesareans abroad. And the maternal mortality figures are all hidden everywhere. Here we are in an open society where these things do come out. And therefore, in Kerala, protests will come out. I'm very sure that these things are happening all over in North India, in East India, wherever it is. But in Kerala is a vociferous state, and everywhere we talk a lot. And this will come out because we are all educated. And that's why it's coming out. I'm not saying it doesn't happen anywhere. So, because it's coming out, it should be stopped. And I hope something is done about it because we have gone so much forward. We don't want to go backward now again. We want to be the torchbearer in maternal mortality, perinatal mortality, healthcare. Without all the incubators and without all the ventilators, still our perinatal mortality rate is on par with the Western world in Kerala. Why go back? Just because a few people
But
think
Dr.
it's not
Shobhana
right.
Mohandas, there is, we all also fall prey to what are called fads. I see and I just shudder because I went to a hospital. I'll always encourage other women to go to hospital. But in the West, suddenly also there are these videos, you go to social media platforms where someone is giving birth in water, in a tub, in the field. They said, well, you have proof, where in the olden days, a woman who's working in, let's say, a rice field is giving birth there. So why is it that you expect us to go to a hospital? Now, all these fads are there, and that's why Veena George, the health minister, is very clear that not only will illegal action be initiated against those who opt for home births, but also in social media, if someone is encouraging it. Dr. Shobhana Mohandas, for someone who's, say, at an impressionable age, 24, 25, is also nervous about childbirth, don't you think these kind of things may impact her adversely by giving out that there is an option here, 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 etc.?
A 24-year-old is definitely not at an impressionable age. She is definitely old enough, mature enough to take a decision. But she is intimidated by forces who are forcing her to think that a woman is an inferior person who is subjugated under the laws, pulled down on her by society. She is not a secondary person. Do you think heart attacks are going to be looked after at home just because you have to leave everything to God and things like that? So all the males who undergo chest pain, are they going to sit at home and get cured by themselves with prayer or acupuncture? They don't. They do go to hospital. When there is a accident on the road, do they say, let me just have some quack put a plaster for me? They don't do that. It's only when it comes to a woman that all these experiments are allowed. And I saw a video in our gynecology WhatsApp group, which is saying that the groups are saying that she has done a great thing and she has joined God and whatever. And another lady from the same community, she's coming and saying, this is happening in my place and I'm ashamed. And she's telling out that so many things can go wrong in a
Yeah, so
normal
let's
delivery, even for a
focus.
qualified
Right.
gynecologist.
So let's focus, Dr. Mohandas, instead of community, but on the dangers of home births, because it could be anybody. So if we go community agnostic, as it were, what are the major dangers of birthing at home, ma'am?
The number one, the most commonly seen problem would be a bad baby coming out. Because if the baby's heartbeat is going wrong, or if the baby is going to take a long time to come out, the baby's brain will have less oxygen, which is called asphyxia in medical jargon. And if the brain is asphyxiated, you will have a, if you have a perinatal mortality and the baby comes out dead, that is a shattering thing for the mother and father. But if the baby comes out with a mental deformity, it is going to be a problem for the whole society. So you are going to have a lot of mentally retarded people if you encourage all this, going back to old age, stone age, and having home births. Number two, what about the mother? If you take a long time to deliver, the uterus will relax. The uterus has to contract and relax, contract and relax. If you flog a horse for a long time, the horse cannot run if it is tired. The same thing happens to the uterus. So if it is flogged for a long time with contraction, it gets tired. So if the labor is prolonged unduly, there will be a chance for hemorrhage from the uterus, which is called postpartum hemorrhage. And when the postpartum hemorrhage should be suddenly, if it goes out, then the blood pressure will fall. And if the blood pressure falls, then the brain will have less oxygen to it, and the patient can go into cardiac arrest and die. In a hospital, if the same thing happens, it can happen to a hospital also. But immediately, there will be people who catch on it. They will be giving her drips, they will be giving her fluids to resuscitate her, and they will be going to the blood bank to get blood for her before it either ever reaches the brain. So, before, just long before the BP falls itself, the patient will be resuscitated. That's the difference between the home birth and the hospital birth, because
And on
the
that
red
note,
flag signs will be caught up with by experienced people much faster, and it will be dealt with a team of people, and your
all
red
right.
code, blue code, and everything. A lot of things are there in the hospital. No code is there in the house.